Hi viewers, welcome to video 15. Getting towards the end of this build series now. Most of the old donkey work's done. I've still not got my suspension in, as you can see. They're my wishbones which need to go in, but a big step forward. As you can see, engine's in now. Managed to get that in its own. Still a bit of wiring to sort out, what I can't remember where to go, but it'll come back to me. So we're actually getting near to a start. What I've actually done, first job I did was sort that fuel filter out, because it were giving me heebie-jeebies. I didn't like it hanging down where it were. So there it is, it's been hiked up now. It were down below body level at van, but I've now hiked it up, and hopefully it should be out of harm's way there. I've put a bit of fuel in to see if I've got any leaks, and up to press I am, so that's a winner. I've put battery on charge, that's been on charge overnight, so when we do come to try and get a start, hopefully it'll have enough guts in battery to make a start, if it's going to start, because it's going to take a while, because it's absolutely bone dry. It's got to fetch fuel right through from tank. It's got a filled tank, fuel filter, all fuel lines. Yeah, so we're just about ready for a start. Only thing I've got to do now, I don't want to run this engine with it's got power steering pump which runs all the time engines on. That's power steering pump. Now I don't want that to run dry. So somewhere I've got a tank what I took off of that. I took power steering tank off. That's it, I've just cleaned it out, that's right. So I'm going to put power steering tank in, fill that up with oil, find out where my pipes to it are. I think I know where they are, and put some power steering fluid in, and we'll go for a start. So I'll see you shortly. Right, I think we're just about ready to go for a start now. I've put that tank in. I've only half topped it up with power steering fluid. It'll take quite a lot of that to get back into the system, but I just didn't want it to run dry. I didn't want to top it right to the top in case we got any leaks or low. So I've checked everything over. I've put battery on. I'll just pull that bit of shit out of there. That's my bung stop stuff falling in it. And we'll go for a start. I'm not expecting it to start first go. It'll be an absolute miracle if it did. After I put battery on, I managed to get a random light coming on. I think that's boot light after when it were wiring harness were in saloon. So at least we know we've got power, because I've got no dash. In fact, I've got very little out. So we'll go for a start, see if it flicks it over. Well, that sounded promising. That sounded like fuel pump kicking in. No way. No way. Well astounded. Nearly fired first go. I forgot exhaust weren't on, so it's going to be mega loud. So we'll go for another start again. I'll stand you there where I can hopefully you can see some while I find out where the throttle pedal is. There it is. Well, that didn't sound very healthy, but it did fire up. Now then. Perhaps before my next trial run, I think I really ought to put exhaust on. Foot neighbours send for police. Right. Happy with that for the first attempt. A lot of messing about to do yet, but there we go. It did fire. Couldn't believe it. Nearly first flick and it fired. Incredible. Right, see you when I've done a bit of fettling. Right, a few problems I've come across along the way. I've decided before I put exhaust on and we have a good fire up, proper fire up, I'm going to put wishbones on. So I bought them brand new wishbones and I paid extra for brand new bolts, for a bolt kit. Now they're supposed to be universal, these bolts, but they're nowhere near a fit. Like everything else has got the bugger about making them fit. So these are original ones what come out. They're battered to death, I know, that's why I ordered new ones. Some of them's like a blind cobbler's thumb, they're in a rectangle. But, so bolts is too long, so first of all you've got to cut them down because they hit on body, so you've got to cut them down to length, and then thread don't go far enough down. So, they're for knacker's yard. So, I've got to chop them down first. That one's cut down to length, and then there's got the bugger about cutting their own threads. So they sell them as a universal kit like, but if they ain't got a tap and die set, they're buggered. Like I say, I've only got a cheap hold on, I'll just put you there 2 minutes. I've only got a cheap tap and die set, but it's been invaluable because when I had subframe powder coated, they'd blocked all oils in, so they needed tapping out with engine mount fitted and where anti-roll bar went. So I'm just going to cut some threads. I'm going to have to put a bit of grease on. Oh bollocks, excuse my French. Just put a bit of grease on to help with thread cutting. So this is what you're up against. You buy stuff in all good faith, paint rate money, and you hope that you're getting right stuff, and you've got to modify everything. But I suppose it's just trouble with messing about with old cars. Nobody stocks right stuff in here. So I'm going to cut this thread. We'll get them wishbones on. We'll get all suspension sorted, brakes back on. Then we'll put exhaust on. Then we'll go for a run. I think reason it run like a bag of shite when it did fire up is one of the plugs, what it plugged into out, is for mass airflow thing. I found a couple of spare plugs, which one's for mass airflow and other one's for lambda sensor what goes in exhaust for cat. So we'll sort them out in a bit, and we'll go for a proper run, and hopefully this engine will be as sweet as a nut. So right, I'll come back to you in a bit, fellas. update on where we've got to. Managed to get all suspension in there, suspension and steering at both sides. I do have a confession to make. I screwed up big time. Somehow along the way, when I come to put anti-roll bar onto subframe, I managed to put it on upside down. So I had a right struggle. I had to drop subframe down, I had to disconnect engine, free everything off, steering rack off front subframe, drop subframe front bottom underneath, jiggle anti-roll bar out, flip it round and then put it back. Hold on, phone's ringing. Just a minute. Never fails, does it? Phone always rings when you're busy. I've managed to make an exhaust pipe up. What I've used is I've used downpipe with catalytic converter on, front petrol, front saloon, hatchback. I've used centre box, and biggest part at centre box, front hatchback. I've had to cut. I've cut that much at centre pipe out. That's where it starts to kick over at back axle. So I've had to chop that out. I've used back part at van. I've had to use van rear silencer. I've had to chop a bit out of that, and I've managed to cobble them both together. I'll see if you can see. So there we've got back silencer at van. That's proper van silencer. I've got that to kick round that suspension arm, round shock absorber, comes down, comes across. That's where I've had to join it. I've had to cut because that kicked up there. That kick up pipe come up there, so I had to saw that off, saw part of bike box off, put a jointer in, and rest at silencer out at saloon. It looks more or less like a factory fit. Oh, only bugbear is there's always something in there. When I fitted this fuel filter, that's fuel filter, I've lifted it up. Now bloody exhaust pipe's right outside of it, so I've got to shift the bugger again, because heat from that exhaust is just going to evaporate fuel in that filter, which is not good. So that fuel filter is going up move again. By the time I've done it, it'll have been in every possible position going. But I've got plenty of space. That's where it is now. I'm going to have to move it up into that void there. But yeah, I weren't planning on. When I fitted that, I didn't plan forward enough and think about where exhaust were going to run. Well, I didn't know, to be honest with you. So yeah. Another 2 cock-ups. So we started off with bloody anti-roll bar upside down, and now we've got to shift that fuel filter again. But everything else is coming on. I've still to sort wiring out. We've got gear change in now, and we've got all 5 gears. 5 gears plus reverse. You have to be really careful not to move that, because when you take it off you have to mark what position it come off, because if you try and put it back and it's moved, you can't always get all gears. But I marked where it come off, and fortunately my marks were still there, so it went back in and everything's tickety-boo. So my next plan of action, because I can't run engine too long, it's still not running right, to be honest with you. I'm going to get, but I can't run it for very long because we've got no cooling. So today's plan: get radiator on, get my windscreen washer bottle in, get air filter in, and we'll get it so I can run it for a while and get it up to temperature and see if it settles down. But at the moment it's running fine, it just won't tick over. So we've got that to sort out. So I'll see you further on. See you in a bit, fellas. Right, I'm going to call this an end to video 15. We managed to get brakes working. They're all bled up. Didn't have any issues with them. Got antifreeze in, we're holding water. It's running, but it's not ticking over. So I've a lot of jiggling about to do. I've managed to sort my wiring out as regards finding out which wire fits what light, front van, harness. Sorted out which wires go where on car harness, so I should be able to make some headway with wiring, and hopefully for third and final time we should have got fuel filter out at road. I've put it right up there, miles away from exhaust, so that's hopefully going to be its final resting place. We're not losing any fluids, no brake fluid, no water. So yeah, so my next protocol is sort that wiring out, get dash back in, seats back in, get it rolling. I've got all gears, get it rolling, and swap doors over, get rid of old Escort out on bike saloon, and then I can crack on with bodywork, throw some paint at it, and we should be close to being finished. Right, thanks for watching, thanks for sticking with me. I know it's been a right haul, but there's light at the end of the tunnel now. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching and thanks for sticking with me. Cheers, fellas.